Two of the most agitated, animated touchline managers facing a nervy afternoon. Pressure. It's a much used, overused word in modern football, modern sport. It's all about expectations. And the fans of Chelsea and Manchester City have become accustomed to a trophy parade in the last few years. We are looking at the favourites to win the FA Cup. Wigan Athletic are worthy finalists, genuine contenders. But Andy, this is the heavyweight semi-final.
Certainly is, Clive. So many good, forward-thinking, forward-minded players out there who should be in for a really interesting game today. And when you consider the three that are in behind Demba Ba for Chelsea, Hazard, Mata, Oscar, and then you look the other side, you see Milner, Aguero, Nasri in behind Tevez. Wow, some real talent out there today. So, yep, they've got to feed those guys. They've got to get them the ball and let them do their business.
Nobody other than Chelsea or Manchester City has won the Cup for 5 years. Sergio Aguero back in the starting lineup after coming on as a substitute for 20 minutes in each of Manchester City's last 2 games. And a timely return to full fitness with David Silva missing today. The match just coming 48 hours too soon for his damaged hamstring. Missed kick by David Luiz, helped out by Ryan Bertrand. Nastasic. Clichy. Just over 6 years since Wembley Stadium reopened, and this is Chelsea's 12th game here in that time. Ivanovic able to clear with some help from Azpilicueta. 7 FA Cup ties among them, all won. What a record.
Certainly the game recently at the Etihad, what was that, actually back in February, I thought City were excellent against Chelsea. It was one of their better performances this season. I don't think Rafa's men could have too many complaints about the manner of that defeat. City far superior. These guys do know each other quite intimately, don't they? 3 times they played each other this year, with the Community Shield. So this is the 4th time, and you know, there's lots to look forward to here, Clive, there really is. But I think Chelsea are very much aware of what City are capable of. I think City, when they bring their A game to the party, they're very best. I think they are the strongest team in the division, I really do. So if they turn up and really get going here, it's a problem.
Problem for Bertrand, which he manages to sort out. Zabaleta trying to force the issue down this side. David Luiz just tossed forward for Demba Ba to chase. Vincent Kompany in charge, and here is Costel Pantilimon, all 6 feet 8 of him. Romanian international who has been selected today ahead of Joe Hart. Hart is fit and on the bench, but Pantilimon is Manchester City's cup keeper, and they've remained loyal to him. Sami Nasri back in favour at Manchester City. Here's Nastasic to Kolo Touré, Manchester City's cup-winning midfield player 2 years ago. Yaya Touré finding Sergio Aguero. Here's Carlos Tevez. Sharp challenge coming in though from Azpilicueta. Ramirez. Now Eden Hazard. Tried to knock it between the legs of Yaya Touré. Strong run by the Manchester City player. Driven into the side netting by Sergio Aguero, and Touré had gone on for the return.
It's almost like the sheer cheek of Hazard to try and nutmeg Yaya Touré. He just shrugs him, swats him to one side. He's onside Aguero when he gives him the ball. That one should be coming back across the 6-yard box. That angle's too tight. I know Aguero's been in great goal-scoring form, scored a belter against United in the derby on Monday, but that one really should be faced along the 6-yard line and ask questions of others to get on the end of it.
Manchester City have scored early goals in the last 2 rounds and had those ties all but won long before half-time. Pantilimon here, yet to concede a goal in this season's cup run. Came off the head of Ramirez. David Luiz back to Petr Cech, the Chelsea skipper this afternoon. Oscar. Let's try to glance it on towards Barr rather than Bertrand. Milner tracking back. Ramirez. Azpilicueta. Juan Mata. Hazard. Oscar turning into a little bit of space, but Clichy tracked him. Strong play by the Manchester City left back, and a bold run. Eventually just upended by John Obi Mikel. The referee is Chris Foy, incidentally. Here's Samir Nasri. Well, blocked by Ivanovic. Chelsea were just caught out by the speed of Manchester City's free kick.
Not for the first time, is it? They've shown great intensity in that counter-attack, City. First Yaya Toure, second time Gael Clichy. I think John Obi Mikel thankful they took that free kick very quickly. May well have got a yellow card off the referee for that challenge.
Head away by Ivanovic, only as far as Gareth Barry. Driven in, Toure! Oh, that's a really good save by Chet. There was no flag. Just kept out Sergio Aguero's instinctive effort. Smart stop by Petr Cech.
Great work from the goalkeeper. Certainly all the Chelsea players are looking along at the linesman to say, where's that flag? They felt he was offside, but it certainly didn't go up.
Headed this time by Mikel, again towards Barry. Mikel more up than out. David Luiz underneath it, though. Nastasic caught in possession by Ramirez. Here's Mata. Bright and purposeful start by both teams. Look at Bertrand sprinting forward to get ahead of Mata. Instead it comes the other way and he just sells Hazard short, and it's Clichy's turn to go again. Here's Tevez. Aguero. Tevez onto Aguero again. Good defending by Azpilicueta.
Great start to the game. Brilliant stuff.
Eden Hazard to Oscar. This is the first 7 minutes, not the last 7 minutes, incidentally. Game is set out at a rate of knots.
I think both teams recognise the qualities of the opposition, Clive, when they've got decent possession, like Chelsea have now. Then you funnel back, then you get your breather, you hold your ground, you keep your shape.
Mata in towards Barr. That was the combination that brought Chelsea to this semi-final. Mata picking out Barr in the replay against Manchester United at Stamford Bridge.
And the flip side to what I was just saying there is when you get the chance to really go at the opposition. We've seen that already, City in particular, and they've had an opportunity to get their heads down and get across the grass. They're not slow in doing it. That's good to see. When the City fans watch their team playing at this sort of tempo, this sort of intensity, they're probably, where have they been? Where have they been for half of this season?
Loose from Nasri, though. Mata. Now Oscar. Managed to squeeze it back into Juan Mata, but Gareth Barry was quickly upon him, and now Samir Nasri trying to escape. He's tagged by Ramirez. Early forward bar was offside anyway. Manchester City are unbeaten in those 3 games against Chelsea so far this season, coming from behind to win the Community Shield at Villa Park in August, long before he had any thoughts of filling this job, taking 4 Premier League points off Chelsea. Nastasic, Nasri, Clichy. Chris Foy almost getting in James Milner's way. Gareth Barry couldn't gather it in. Zabaleta to Barry. Tevez. Into Aguero, quickly for Barry.
Oh, love it.
This is Carlos Tevez. Another good stop by Petr Cech at the near post, but a wonderful interchange between the three Manchester City players involved.
How good is that? The speed, the movement, the accuracy of the passing. All that was required was Tevez to either really go for that near post or fizz it back across Petr Cech and ask Aguero to get on the end of it, but terrific play once more.
James Milner with the corner. Headers by Demba Ba. Oscar trying to take the ring road round Nasri. Ba doing a spot of defending. Bertrand finding Azpilicueta. Now Mata. Really compelling rhythm about the game. Mata. Azpilicueta. Mata caught there by Barry in possession. Touré to Tevez. Now Aguero. Tevez has run into some space inside him. Only Milner in the box. Yaya Touré. Tevez to Nasri. Tevez spreading it this time to Zabaleta. Nastasic. Clichy. Tevez now swapping with Aguero, who waits on the edge of the penalty area. Plenty of fluency and fluidity about Manchester City coming forward. Milner. Zabaleta is the furthest player forward for them at the moment. This is Yaya Touré. Aguero allowed to turn. That's good work by David Luiz coming out to meet his man and run him off the ball. Mikel playing a 1-2 off Touré. And now looking to free Ba.
That's the problem for Chelsea so far, trying to find their centre forward. Demba Ba, I don't think has touched the ball. When you consider how much play already Tevez, Aguero, Nasri, they've all been involved so much. They've all had plenty of the ball at their feet. Mata, Hazard, by comparison, yet to really get involved. Chelsea just on the back foot at the moment.
Milner. Barry. Both Manchester City fullbacks pushing forward. This is Samir Nasri. Looking to play James Milner in. And the cross is way overhit.
Yeah, he had to go for it. It's one of those that, when it comes to you, you've got to really try and fizz it and fire it. But he's certainly the busier out of the two goalkeepers at the moment. And the questions before the game were about Pantilimon. Petr Cech here, forced to parry that one away, beat that one away at the near post. And this was that one from Gareth Barry. Was Sergio Aguero offside? The flag stayed down. Look, that little toe end, and he's really sharp to his right to just tip that one round the post.
Such a clever finish, and he was just level. But Petr Cech responded. It was Cech's outstanding save from Javier Hernandez, which, in combination with that Demba Ba volley, brought Chelsea past Manchester United in the quarter-final replay.
This is a very similar start to the game at the Etihad, Clive, where City just got on top of Chelsea very early on and dominated the game. And they can't afford to let that carry on. They've got to try and get themselves in it a wee bit more, either press City a little bit more and try and turn them round a wee bit more. They've got to get Ba involved, as I said earlier, but at the moment, City are enjoying comfortable possession. And they're not really being pressurised by Chelsea. Chelsea are dropping away, but they're still finding Tevez in the hole. They're still finding Aguero when he peels off in those wider areas.
That was February, and Manchester City won 2-0 with an outstanding individual goal from Yaya Touré and a late drive from Carlos Tevez. The last 3 FA Cup winning managers have all been Italian. Rafa Benitez, the only Spanish manager to have won the Cup. This is his first visit to Wembley as a manager, or as an interim manager. Roberto Di Matteo had an interim tag a year ago. Gus Hiddink won the Cup as a temporary Chelsea manager. Maybe it's the way forward. I'm not sure that any Chelsea manager has been much more than temporary in recent years. 4 Cup wins in 6 years, 4 different men in charge.
I don't think the wives will be too quick to unpack the boxes, do you? They'll just say, we'll leave that there for a few months and see how we go.
And the accountants are quite quick to check the small print, though. Oscar. And Mikel. Showed a little bit too much of that to Tevez. Here's Aguero. Taking up positions where he's difficult to shackle. Sergio Aguero coming wide to both flanks. Interchanging with Tevez. Nasri, who's ostensibly started on the left, popping up on the right here. Eventually broken up by Juan Mata. Oscar, that's beautifully done. Cynically brought down and held back by Pablo Zabaleta. Chris Foy just giving himself some thinking time.
Well, it's a poor challenge from Zabaleta. Lovely skill from Oscar. He just grabs him. That's a yellow card. That is really... I wouldn't blame the referee for not showing it, because we don't want one of those where all of a sudden, just because he produces a yellow for that type of challenge, he feels compelled to do it for others. So I think there's a fair amount of common sense shown there by Chris Foy, and I like that. But Zabaleta will be under no illusions. One more of them and he's definitely in the book.
I think it's a yellow card. No card shown. Clichy able to allow the ball to bounce. Nastasic trusting his rookie goalkeeper. And Manchester City playing their way out of trouble. Tevez. Lots of space for Nasri. Good run by Aguero, created the space. Barry, Milner. Trying to draw Chelsea out. 11 black shirts behind the ball. 10 black and 1 yellow, I should say, 1 green. And when Tevez has popped up. Nasri. Nastasic. Clichy. Milner just trying to bend his run. Lively start to the second FA Cup semi-final. An assertive start by Manchester City. Petr Cech has already made 1 outstanding save and 1 less than outstanding clearance.
Yeah. Great play, though, from Carlos Tevez, Clive, just inviting Petr Cech to maybe take the ball at his feet and have a look, and then all of a sudden he rushes him and just forces the error. At the moment, Yaya Toure and Gareth Barry definitely bossing proceedings in the middle of the park. They're initiating pretty much everything for their team going forward, whereas Mikel and Ramirez have hardly had a kick. And therefore, Oscar, Hazard and Mata, most crucially, are finding it difficult to get going.
And Demba Ba's rather isolated for now. Company. That's a straightforward ball down the centre for Sergio Aguero. A really good block by Ivanovic, who caught up with him after Aguero had slipped his marker.
It's a stunning ball, but it's far too easy. I mean, Ivanovic will credit him with the block, but watch Aguero in between the two Chelsea defenders. Look, he knows he's onside. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Those two centre-halves not communicating, not together. Brilliant recovering challenge from Branislav Ivanovic. Lovely work and run from Sergio Aguero, but too easy. You cannot allow that player in particular, because he is the difference. He does make the difference for this City team. Can't allow him to get in there, Clive.
He was out for 5 weeks with a knee ligament injury, his third injury spell out of the team this season, Sergio Aguero, and Manchester City have paid for that. His goal tally is half of what he achieved last season. Nastasic, Toure. Ramirez getting amongst it but unable to win the ball back, and here's Gareth Barry. Slipped through to Sergio Aguero. Toure. Clichy's first touch was just a little heavy. He had to come back onto his unfavoured right side to cross. Headed away by Oscar, only as far as Gareth Barry. Now Pablo Zabaleta. Tevez has found Zabaleta. Tevez has gone on into Aguero, trying to hold the ball up for Carlos Tevez. Hit against the shins of Ryan Bertrand. Manchester City are finding a way through.
Great play again from Carlos Tevez, who drops off that front line to initiate that attack, and little give and go with Zabaleta, again with Aguero. And another desperate block. Good block. But it's all looking a little bit strained and stretched at the back at the moment for Chelsea.
Aguero able to make a move towards the ball without being tracked. Here's James Milner. Nobody waiting in that area. As Peliquetra away. Eden Hazard. Maybe Chelsea can counter. Demba Ba. He was just manhandled by Vincent Kompany, and a free kick has been given in Chelsea's favour.
Unnecessary, Vincent Kompany, to make that challenge. He just needs to get there, just stay pretty strong, not allow Demba Ba to turn and get at him, but he nudges him and he just forces him over, and it gives Juan Mata a chance at last to give his back four a breather and just give Pantilimon something to consider.
Ba has been joined by both Ivanovic and Luiz. Juan Mata with the free kick. Oh, the goalkeeper came and went back. Eden Hazard through the crowd, headed off the line by Vincent Kompany. Goalkeeper in no man's land, but Kompany relatively untroubled. It was difficult volley for Hazard to execute with any power, but he got it on target. It was a scare. Oscar. A little bit of space now for Juan Mata. Demba Ba trying to turn. Bounce didn't quite favour him. A bit of anxiety in the Manchester City rear guard for the first time.
Good work from Vincent Kompany to get in behind the goalkeeper, didn't he?
And just as Manchester City had missed Aguero at one end, they missed Kompany when he was out for 2 months with a car problem at the other. Dropped 10 points in the 6 games their skipper missed. A little bit of space for Ramirez, well found by Hazard, well seen by Toure. Now David Luiz. Header away by Nastasic. Mikel trying to keep the heat on. Zabaleta away. Milner can counter. Aguero with Tevez running ahead of him. Didn't quite pick the right channel. Really is a fabulous semi-final. Crashing challenge by Barry. Play on says the referee. Now there's no advantage, he pulls play back.
Well played, the ref. Well done. He's absolutely right there to play the advantage. Yes, I know that Ramirez has took a challenge there and he's looking like he's felt the full force of it, but no question, the advantage was with his team. It's a really good run. Look, it's a definite blatant foul, no question, but the referee's absolutely right to let that go.
Yellow card for Gareth Barry. I think he did lose his footing slightly, but it was like an American football block, that. Where do you stand on these cup goalkeeper selections?
Look, he might be 6'8", but he makes himself 5'5" if he tries to come and get it in that sort of traffic. He's giving himself no chance there, just because he's such a giant. He doesn't really need to have to come and get everything. He's got some giants back there. This is that Chelsea defending we've seen. Ivanovic, great block earlier from Aguero. Then we saw this lovely little couple of give and goes, and it was Ryan Bertrand having to make sure that he denied Carlos Tevez.
Really good match.
It is a good match, Clive. Great feel to it, great intensity. Chelsea just desperately trying to hang in there and gradually start to build something themselves.
Ramirez has made of the right stuff. I dare say he'll be back. One of those two Manchester City fouls, penalised, and a Chelsea free kick. Gareth Barry yellow carded. Bar with a peeling run. Oh, and that had echoes of the quarter-final replay. Tried to bring it down that time, whereas against Manchester United, he volleyed it first time.
Love the run. Great run. Nastasic didn't know whether to go with him or hold that line. Go with your runner. If it's a good run, you can't do it. You've got to track the movement of Demba Ba there, and you're spot on, Clive. If he just maybe tries to volley that towards the goal as he did against United, he could well have found the back of the net, because Pantilimon was wandering way out of his goal.
I think in a strange sort of way, it was an even better chance, and so as a result, he had a decision to make. I don't think he did against Manchester United. I think he just had to do what came naturally to him, and he did it brilliantly. Aguero's turned it round the corner, but only for Ivanovic. Good response this from Chelsea in the last few minutes.
Yeah.
Bar, terrific control. Mata, not such good control, but he's broken the challenge of Barry. Hazard. Seen by Clichy. Oscar quickly upon him, and Chelsea have got it back.
It's better. Much better from Chelsea last 5 minutes. Starting to threaten a wee bit themselves. They could hardly draw breath for the first 20 odd minutes, but now just finding their way.
Chelsea throw. Hazard. Ramirez back with us. Space and time for Azpilicueta to pick across. Nastasic with a header away. Ivanovic tossing it forward towards Bar. Company did just about enough. It's come down, though, for Hazard momentarily. Toure doing well. Ramirez trying to win it back. Bertrand, no foul. Zabaleta seemed to get there after the ball. +4 giving it every chance. Mata onto Oscar. Trying to get beyond Clichy. And a goal kick given.
Lucky there, Oscar, who's just trying to use his body strength to stay the right side of Gael Clichy. Just can't force himself back into possession, but great tempo. There's been some lovely football and some tasty challenges as well that I'm delighted that the referee has just let it go. Hey, Chopper Harris and Mickey Droy might have fancied a bit of this.
It might have been a bit too fast for Mickey Droy. But Chris Hoy is just the senior side of 50. And he's getting around the field and getting close to it and letting players tackle. Aguero. Tevez. Nasri. Clichy. Instant cross, half charged down by Azpilicueta, headed clear by Ivanovic. Mata. Hazard. Here's Barr. Mata. Now Mikel. Real urgency about the way both teams are coming forward, but a smoothness too. Mata. Ramirez. Hazard. Swiveled into space, try to tuck it in the bar. Barry comes between them. Given back to Ramirez. Wonderful plucky play from Ramirez. This is Demba Ba, just unable to kill it, and Clichy knocked it against Ramirez, and it's a goal kick.
Much better Chelsea now, they're on top of the game. Now, I'm sure Rafa will feel his team are involved. Much better. Much, much better. Mikel and Ramirez able to get the ball at their feet now and start finding Mata and start popping it into Hazard.
You may remember Rafa Benitez's first game in charge of Chelsea was against Manchester City in November, and such was the frostiness of the reception, you wonder whether there would be a second. This is the 38th, which is more games than he was in charge at Inter Milan in his last job. There'll be at least 8 more, maybe 10, if Chelsea can navigate their 2 semi-finals. Demba Ba, too strong for Nastasic. Good recovery by the young Serb, who just grows as a player every week. Aguero, strong play by Ivanovic, strong play by Tevez. Space for James Milner. Bertrand will get there ahead of him.
Important challenge that from Ryan Bertrand. If that pass from Carlos Tevez had just had a little bit more pace on it, and Chelsea would have been in trouble. But again, good strength and good pace on the counter.
Mata, picked off by Toure. Ramirez reacts quickly. Hazard back to Azpilicueta. Hazard has gone on. Both sets of attacking players asking questions all the time. Ramirez, back heel for Hazard. Barry with an important challenge. Manchester City's turn to attack. It's like a great NBA game, this. First one, then the other. Aguero. Space for James Milner, but Aguero's pushed him wider than he wanted. Barry in support. Clearance by Ivanovic. Nastasic getting in front of Bar.
Great when you've got 2 good teams packed with top players having a proper go at it. Every time there's a challenge, players are bouncing back up on their feet. They're wanting the ball back. They're not rolling around and delaying anything. It's great. Absolutely everything we could have asked for. All we need, perhaps, is a goal, because the longer it goes on like this, then it may slow down a bit. They're not going to keep going at this rate of knots.
Now, Chelsea have played 5 games since the international break. Manchester City 2 in the same period. Their last match was on Monday in Manchester. Chelsea's Thursday in Moscow. 6th game in 15 days for Chelsea, with their longest ever season. They've already played 15 games more than Manchester City.
Wow. In the first 20 minutes it looked like that, didn't it? It looked like that they were trying to find their legs and get their second wind. But they'll be happier now. A lot more comfortable with the situation.
Yaya Toure. Mata thought about following him. Tucked in. Nasri! Kind bounce, emphatic finish. Manchester City take the lead. Samir Nasri. Ball ran sweetly for him. Everybody with Manchester City at heart celebrates, apart from the manager. They're in front.
And I said Chelsea were probably feeling a bit happier, and then Yaya Toure decided to get himself really involved in the game and pick a ball up 10 yards into Chelsea territory and just put his head down and go and say, you catch me, you come and stop me. No one getting anywhere near him. It's a great pass. He gets a lot of good fortune. In fact, Samir Nasri, because he's trying to pass when really he should be shooting initially. But you get a bit of luck, make the most of it. Take it when it comes your way, and he does exactly that. You can't deny City's start to this game. It's been terrific. They really have started the game well. Chelsea have slowly got themselves back in it, but that's a fair reflection of what we've seen for 35 minutes.
He scored a lovely dig winner against Chelsea in a terrific match last season. But that's his first goal since October, only his second since August when he scored against Chelsea in the Community Shield. And he's been on the fringes for 2 or 3 months, just got back in for the last couple of games and just started to show something of what Manchester City expected to get when they signed him from Arsenal. And he's back on the ball, the goal scorer, Samir Nasri. Run off it by Ivanovic. You know, Andy, when he played well against Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, Roberto Mancini said, I feel like punching him.
Yeah.
He should play that like that all of the time.
Because, Clive, there have been too many of those Samir Nasri performances when he just was invisible. He didn't look like he was interested, didn't look like he felt loved, wanted to be part of it. But when he plays, when he fancies it, oh, he's a player. He's a proper player, this guy.
Company. Zabaleta. Milner. Remember, Manchester City still to concede in this cup run. Hazard. Juan Mata. John Obi Mikel. Sorted his feet out and kept the ball. Mata to Azpilicueta. Zabaleta couldn't clear. It's come for Oscar. Hit by Mata. He's always just drifting away from its target.
That's better. Good numbers in the box as well. Oscar it is who drives in, takes Zabaleta, and he just rolls it to Juan Mata. He goes for that big side foot and he's trying to curl that across Pantelimon into that far corner. Need to get him in the game as much as they can. Have to get that guy involved. When it comes to, yeah, he's got his numbers, his goals are terrific, but his assists, it's what he can do for others. Got to try and find Juan Mata that bit more.
Milner. Cross comes Ivanovic, just took the weight off it beautifully for David Luiz. Well, the goal was inevitable. The tempo and intensity of the game, we weren't quite sure which end it was going to come. It's come for Manchester City. Milner. Company, a little bit of space here for Yaya Toure. Such a difficult man to stop when he opens his legs and really moves through the gears. He's found Samir Nasri here. James Milner. Space on the edge of the penalty area for Tevez, and now for Aguero. Just poked away by Cech. James Milner. Cech makes another save. There's a flag up anyway.
Just there, look, I was just wondering whether Sergio Aguero could possibly have got that way. There's the one player behind the goalkeeper there, Sergio Aguero. The one on the line, the flag goes up.
Here come Chelsea again. Ramirez couldn't quite take it in his stride. Zabaleta away, but only as far as Azpilicueta.
How quick did that get from one end to the other? I'm still watching the replay.
Eden Hazard. Juan Mata. Oscar. Space for Ryan Bertrand. Mikel. Header away by Company. Mata. Back to Azpilicueta. Juan Mata again. Clicked in towards Bar. Headed away by Nastasic. Ceaseless tempo about the game. Hazard to Mata. Now Oscar. Just angled beyond.
It's unlucky.
Hazard.
It's actually quite a teasing, clever little ball that from Oscar. Just didn't have anybody on the end of it. Here's the goal again. Lovely run from Yaya Toure. I just think there, Sami Nasri is looking to pass that one more when he could have had a shot anyway. When it comes back to it, he makes no mistake. But, you know, with this guy, I think Mancini questioned his stomach. He questioned the heart earlier on in the season. That's the finger he was pointing at Sami Nasri. And I think that's why you're seeing the performances on the level he's giving right now, because that hurts. It's the biggest criticism you can aim at any player, Clive, is that they're not giving it, they're not trying.
There were a couple of headline moments earlier in the season which rather soured his relationship with Manchester City. A tetchy red card at Norwich at Christmas. Remember, he was the player who ducked on the end of the wall when Robin van Persie scored that dramatic winner in the first Manchester derby of the season. And they were difficult times for Nasri at City. He's enjoying himself now. It was just out of play. He'll have to come back.
It was close, very, very close. Yeah, just there, it's just gone out, yeah.
Here's a Manchester City throw, though. Zabaleta. Milner. Clipped in towards Tevez. Ivanovic caught in two minds. It was an awkward ball.
Yeah, he stepped out there, Ivanovic, as well, and left Azpilicueta in behind him. A yard or two deep, that was dangerous.
Looked like obstruction that by Company.
Yeah, that was. That one there, Chris Forrest tried to let that go and play an advantage, but that one he should give back to Chelsea because Company's just cleaned Juan Mata out there. Great little dummy.
Such a flair and invention about each side coming forward. Even more enjoyable if a few of the flair players out there were English. Oscar. There's Azpilicueta to Eden Hazard. Mata. Oscar. Swept into the path of Ryan Bertrand. Steps away from Pablo Zabaleta. Here's Juan Mata. Mikel to Oscar. And now Azpilicueta. The clearance by Nastasic. Typical play by Tevez. They won it back and won a free kick.
They're great like that, City's front two. Whether that's Tevez or Aguero, they'll do that for their team. They get back, they get their body in, and they're hard to knock off the ball. And they'll just wait for others and then draw a foul. Great that is for a back four that's under pressure. He knows it, pressure off.
And a good run of form, Manchester City. They won 6 of their last 7 games coming in to this. Much the better side for the first 15 minutes or so. Chelsea responded well. 10 minutes before the break, Sami Nasri gave Manchester City the lead. Here's Sergio Aguero trying to get beyond David Luiz, who just stood his ground and made it impossible for him to pass.
Did well there, David Luiz. Not the player that you welcome running out with Sergio Aguero, but he did well.
Clear foul by Toure, and I think cynical enough to attract a yellow card from Chris Foy.
Well, Yaya saying that trying to plead his case, and it's my first one, but it seriously derails any chance Chelsea had to counter there. That's why the card is shown, not necessarily for the nastiness of the challenge. It's basically a trip, but it's just all the initiative gone, and now City can get back behind the ball, and Chelsea got 10 blue shirts to get through.
Hazard, and he was held back there by Clichy this time. Again, just interrupting the flow of Chelsea's attacking play.
Get this in that 6-yard box again. Let's have another look at this goalkeeper. That's what I'd be saying. Put it in there, put it in between that penalty spot and 6-yard box and say, you coming to get it, sunshine or not?
Juan Mata takes. Headers by Company. That's Piliqueta back into the danger area. Gareth Barry out of the danger area. A little bit of a mix-up there, and Manchester City have got men over in the break here. Tevez on towards Milner. And Ramirez tried to bring him down and couldn't. They're outnumbered here, Chelsea. James Milner on the ball. Oh, it wasn't the best of crosses. Vincent Kompany! Well, Aguero was the man that was on. Milner couldn't find him. It deflected for the Manchester City captain, and he fired wide.
Great strength from James Milner, because Ramirez is a tough lad, and he's just brushed him to one side. Look at the numbers they've got in the box. That's a poor ball from James Milner. That's a really poor delivery from him. If he just rolls that back to somebody, they could add to their tally.
Breathless, wonderful half of football. Just the one goal, could have been several. Samir Nasri scored it 10 minutes before the break. Manchester City have maybe just edged it overall, but it does have the feel of a semi-final with more goals in it. Roy Keane, Lee Dixon and Gareth Southgate will be discussing it in just a moment. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1. It's a very different semi-final to yesterday's in many ways. I think the Metropolitan Police are maybe quietly grateful that Manchester United didn't make it here. But whereas the two semi-finalists yesterday averaged 19,000 and 8,500 supporters for home games, these two averaged 47 and 41,000. So their ticket allocations were 31, 32,000. So both have sold out to their regular customers. Every ticket has gone to people who are accustomed to seeing their teams in action. Does make me wonder why you can get a half as good as the one we've just watched, and the people with the most expensive seats in the house aren't able to drag themselves away from their tea and sandwiches to see every single minute of it. But that's their privilege. Chelsea made 7 changes from Moscow on Thursday. Ashley Cole and Gary Cahill are still missing through injury, are expected back in a week or so. James Milner was just caught by Ramirez and on a topping up procedure. I think he's going to be the first Chelsea player to be yellow carded.
It's good play from James Milner, because he invites the throw into Ramirez and then tests his first touch, tests his control. He's immediately on top of him as the ball arrives, and he's won it back, and then he's fouled. He's not happy. A lot of frustration there.
It's his 9th yellow card of the season, but after this weekend, has there been a card? Yeah, there is a card, belatedly. David Luiz is on 9 yellow cards, and a yellow card today for him would result in a 2-match ban. Ramirez is going to escape that. There's an armistice after this weekend. Tevez, Barry, Milner, Gareth Barry, Aguero with the header! 2-0 to Manchester City. They're on the verge of the final. What a week for Sergio Aguero, a winner in a Manchester derby, And now a goal in an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. Well, they were 2 down at Old Trafford in the quarter-final and came back. But it's a long way back for Chelsea now.
What a start to the second half. As a manager, I'm sure Mancini thinks, I hope my team play with the same intensity. I hope they start the second half as they did the first. Well, this is the answer. Because there's been a snap, there's been a real fizz and a crackle about their play all afternoon, whether it be winning the ball back, whether it be getting people in the box. It's a lovely flighted ball from Gareth Barry. And another important goal. So very, very carefully taken from Sergio Aguero, puts City into an emphatic 2-0 win. In 2-0 lead, should I say.
Well, it's not the most important goal he's ever scored for Manchester City, that's for sure. But it'll be a contender for second place.
They're queuing up at the back post, weren't they? Too easy as well, the cross. Gareth Barry's got all the time in the world to have a touch and have a look and just clip it in the box.
Mikel. Bertrand. There's 2 substitutions in the quarter-final, which prompted that Chelsea comeback against Manchester United. And Lampard and Torres will wait and hope that their moment might still come in this game. It's optimistic, to say the least, from Ramirez.
What would he have done about that? You always get the feeling with John Terry that he might have just been able to pull someone around, to get someone into a position to maybe attack that, defend that, even get his own head on it himself. Great goal from Aguero's perspective.
He made a clever spinning run in behind Ivanovic.
That's a simple run, Clive. That's a run in a 6-yard box.
This is Oscar. Held up by Company. And eventually Manchester City outnumbered him. And here's Carlos Tevez. Sergio Aguero. Samir Nasri. Tevez. Barry to Nasri. Tucked into Milner. David Luiz shuts the door in his face. Chelsea have got to gather themselves now. Manchester City have the scent of a return. Juan Mata. Bertrand will chase that, and he's kept it in. Milner had given up on it. It's James Milner who fittingly atones. Ramirez. Hazard. Space for Azpilicueta. Ramirez to Mata. Head away by Nastasic. Can Chelsea reassert themselves? Juan Mata. Stolen from him by Yaya Toure. 3 against 2 in the break here. Chelsea overcommitted. Toure with options right and left. Tevez had to check to get it. And back comes Juan Mata to cut out an Aguero-bound pass.
What a poor ball from Yaya Toure. If he just keeps going, eventually one of those centre-halves has to come towards him. That's the time to slip it to Aguero or Tevez. As good a 3-on-2 situation as you can see there, but he's just tried to give the ball out to Tevez too soon at the wrong time, and Chelsea have done well to recover.
Mikel seeking out Demba Ba. He's done well to protect the ball there. Hazard, Oscar. Diving challenge by Zabaleta, gets his foot on the ball. Nasri to Barry.
City are able to get out so easily, aren't they? Every time, you know, Chelsea are high up the pitch on the edge of the City area. When the move breaks down, all of a sudden you get people like Gareth Barry or Yaya Toure in bags of space, able to run beyond Chelsea's midfield players and start dictating the play. I mean, they've decided now to put their foot on it and slow it down a bit. They could have gone for the jugular once more just then.
I think it's the big question that Rafa Benitez inherited in November. Can you afford to play Hazard, Mata and Oscar and a forward?
Well, I think we've seen enough to suggest yes is the answer to that, but it's certainly not working at the moment. I'd get Lampard on because you need a goal. You need something to get you back in the game. I said that at Old Trafford and they found a way back without him.
Mata down the middle towards Demba Ba. Headaways by Kishi. David Luiz finding Oscar. Now Mata. Swept into the path of Azpilicueta. We'll get another chance across, but he can't take that. Gal Clichy away. David Luiz. Rolled into Bar, trying to spin Oscar. Mix up between Azpilicueta and Hazard, and here goes Carlos Tevez. Aguero is available, but pass won't reach him.
No, I think Tevez actually wanted to go on his own there. He was really running. Great play, Aguero. Well played. When you think, Clive, he's been moaning about his front men all season, Mancini. Well, they turned up this afternoon. These two have been an absolute menace, Tevez and Aguero today.
Toure found a way out to Zabaleta. Milner. Using the best of crosses. Toure into Zabaleta. Good work by Ryan Bertrand. Haven't lost 2 games in a row under Rafa Benitez. Chelsea beaten on Thursday in Moscow, albeit not critically. They got through an aggregate. Bertrand. Oscar. Mata to Ramirez. Oscar. Shot might just come for Bar. Really well away by Company.
Yeah, great defending that is.
Milner forward, check in charge of the situation. No such thing as a lost cause to Tevez or Aguero.
No.
Mata stepped into the path of Ramirez invitingly. Now Eden Hazard. It'll come for Bar. He came from an offside position though, flags up.
Yeah.
It was actually Ramirez rather than Bar.
Just think there, Eden Hazard, he can maybe have a little go at Gael Clichy. Once he slows it down, you can see Ramirez there, he's in an offside position. I don't think that's actually intended for him. It was intended for a little give and go with Oscar. But we saw at Old Trafford when United, having got 2-0 up, sat back and took their foot off the gas, that I think with the introduction of Eden Hazard, Chelsea all of a sudden then started to have a go. Throw caution to the wind a little bit more. Well, they're in that same boat right now. It's just whether or not this City team are going to afford them the same sort of luxury.
Yeah, Hazard and Mikel came on for Moses and Lampard that day. Bertrand. Mata down the side. Zabaleta for Oscar. Corner kick. Should bring John Terry on just for these, I think.
Yeah.
Special teams.
Not always been great defending set pieces this season, City. Short one taken.
Bertrand. Cross clears everybody.
So you've got to be braver than that, Ryan Bertrand.
David Luiz has won a free kick, though.
Yeah. Short corner was played to Bertrand. He's just clipped it in there. You've got to wrap your foot around it. Put it in there with a bit of devil on it.
There's a good innocent face for a Uruguayan defender, Pablo Zabaleta. Mata takes. And Pantilimon takes.
That one's perfect for him again. Like the Bertrand cross off the other side, Mata has just clipped that in there, and it gives the goalkeeper time to assess it and use his superior height to his advantage.
Nasri. Tevez has timed the run well. Swept back to Barry. Heavy touch. Well kept in that by Aguero. Toure. Aguero's made a run, held up by Ramirez. Toure just bursting forward. A little flourish to feed Tevez. It's almost unfair when he uses his brute strength to burst past people. Vincent Kompany couldn't resist. But he captained City in the semi-final here 2 years ago, but Carlos Tevez came back from injury and went up to lift the trophy. And I think that Vincent Kompany, the title-winning captain, would be a very worthy recipient of Manchester City's next piece of silverware, whatever it is. It's a good example on and off the field for them. Nastasic and Pantilimon not quite on the same wavelength.
Yeah, goalkeeper had plenty of time actually there to come and get that.
Mata. Bertrand. Hazard. John Obi Mikel. Cesar Azpilicueta. Now Oscar. It's a Manchester City throw. Never a season without silverware at Inter Milan or Manchester City. Oscar. Cross deflected, but set up kindly for Pantilimon.
I'm sure Mancini will be waiting, expecting a change from Rafa Benitez shortly. We know that the Chelsea boss likes to make those changes around the 65 minutes, that sort of time. He feels that they have their most impact.
Barry couldn't keep it in. Rafa Benitez is just calling at least one of his substitutes back now. It's time for the mask. Mata. That's a terrific pass for Hazard, gets the control it deserves. Oscar. Not quite the cross he wanted, but it'll come for Eden Hazard. Mata. Hazard. The angle's against him.
Yeah, tough from that sort of distance. Just made half a yard, didn't he, Eden Hazard? Took the shot. These are the City goals. This is what separates the two teams. Great goal from Sami Nasri, lovely run from Yaya Toure, and then right at the start of the second half, just a very simple ball clipped into the 6-yard box, and Sergio Aguero just on the end of it.
Well, Fernando Torres only played about half an hour's football at Wembley. 6 minutes at the end of last year's semi-final. He wasn't used in the final against Liverpool. He did have a 26-minute run out for Spain in the friendly international last season. Fresh from a couple of goals in the Europa League. He hasn't actually scored as a substitute this season. Mikel. Oscar. Tiptoed into space and found Ramirez. Mata. Now Bertrand. Hazard. A little bit of space for Ramirez. Oh, he was caught in two minds.
Was. He could have actually dropped that back to Oscar. Maybe even took it himself in the end. I think he actually tries to find Juan Mata, who makes a little run. Who might have been off, he would have been offside anyway. This one maybe could have took himself.
Vincent Kompany. Gareth Barry. Yaya Toure's pass over here. Well, it's an interesting change because it looks like a change of shape here for Chelsea. Needs must. Fernando Torres coming on, and it's John Obi Mikel that goes off.
Yeah, well, Torres obviously goes up front alongside Barr. It looks like Oscar's going to tuck inside alongside Ramirez. And Eden Hazard's come out on the right.
And here's Demba Ba immediately.
Oh, yes.
And an instant impact. Demba Ba, whose goal brought Chelsea into the semi-final, scores with another acrobatic volley. Game on.
Out of absolutely nothing. Once more, Demba Ba just shows such fantastic athleticism. To just pop it in the back of the net.
Chelsea, number 29, Demba.
But how they get in so easily again. He's just peeled off the back of Nastasic. It's such a long, direct ball. And it just holds up on the surface, doesn't it? But he has to swivel and turn and adjust. And he does that so well. Gives the goalkeeper no chance whatsoever. That's another stunning goal for Demba Ba to add to his collection.
So lithe, so balanced. He scored goals against Manchester City, for Newcastle, West Ham, and now Chelsea.
That's what happens when you have another body up there alongside him. All of a sudden, those centre-halves have just got a little bit more to think about. Torres hadn't even touched the ball, but he has an effect by just being there.
David Luiz. Rather rash. He was a beaten European Cup final captain here at Wembley 21 years ago. Sampdoria beaten by Barcelona, and he took it out on the referee to the tune of a 4-game suspension. We've seen those rants and raves in 3 years on English touchlines. And holding court again this week about one thing and another, international friendlies, Manchester United's opponents. Here's Aguero. But he's a right to be restless at the moment. Chelsea are back in the game. Yaya Toure, though. Tevez slipping. Trying to feed it through to Milner. Ramirez pounces on the ball. Chelsea on the up. Past a lot of Demba Ba.
Yeah. Just roll it to Fernando Torres. He's standing there in the wide area. Great run from Ramirez, but just roll it to him. Give him it.
Clichy. Samir Nasri here opened the scoring after 35 minutes. Sergio Aguero here added Manchester City's second 2 minutes after the break. Tevez trying to play Aguero in again. Picked off by David Luiz.
Great ball.
Layoff from Fernando Torres, and here goes Eden Hazard. And Manchester City are caught a little bit bare at the back. Hazard trying to slip it through to Mata, might get there. Juan Mata, good save by Pantilimon. Definitely got hands to the ball. Half-hearted appeal from Mata. There were other options there for Chelsea.
Excellent counter. Lovely first-time ball from Fernando Torres, and when you get Eden Hazard in that sort of position where he's running at defenders and he's able to bob and weave and try and find a yard, he's so dangerous, so difficult. And the goalkeeper does really well to get his hands on that. That's better. That's what City were doing to Chelsea first half. Mustasic straining every sinew. Mata certainly gets the touch, but the goalie does definitely get his hands on that ball. There may have been an inevitable coming together after. There, good hands.
Gareth Barry with a rather desperate clearance. Toure can't get it under control. Here's Hazard. Might just have beaten himself there and held back Clichy. Oh, play on! Bar! Good save by Pantilimon! Outstanding stop by the big Romanian.
Brilliant.
From Demba Ba.
He gives it up, Gael Clichy. He thinks he's been fouled. He's waiting for the whistle, and so do all the light blue shirts. They're just standing there. And in the end, Demba Ba forces another outstanding stop from Pantilimon. What a difference a goal makes.
Manchester City looking ragged all of a sudden. Well, he's only played 7 games for Manchester City this season. That is the first goal that they have conceded in the cup run. No doubt that Joe Hart is the club's #1, but they've gone with this policy of playing Pantilimon in the cup, and they have remained loyal to him today, and he has repaid them.
Didn't know much about it, but a lot of credit. A lot of credit for being there. Quick to pounce on it afterwards, but City on the ropes.
You don't have to know too much when you're 6'8".
It's true.
Bertrand. Oscar de Hazard. Mata. When these three get their act together and dominate the ball as they're doing now, then they're difficult to resist. And it doesn't really matter how you defend. Azpilicueta. Just couldn't quite get it on the half volley.
Yeah. Back across the goal. Put it back in there. You've got an angle like that to deal with. You're asking a lot for a right back to try and beat the goalkeeper from there. Just put it back in that 6-yard box. Keep the pressure on.
Manchester City are having to make a pretty significant change here. with Carlos Tevez coming off, an attacking player, and a robust defensive midfield player coming on in his place in the shape of Javi Garcia.
Being replaced by number 14, Javi Garcia.
He's just going to push Yaya Toure, I think, 5 yards further forward. He's going to sit in there alongside Gareth Barry.
He has played a couple of games for his country, Romania, since the turn of the year, Costel Pantilimon. He's conceded 6 goals in those 2 games. I suppose he got plenty of practice. Now, both goalkeepers have made outstanding stops here today.
Got Hazard involved a lot more, haven't they? Second half, Chelsea. Looks such a better side as well when he's also adding to their array of talents with the ball at his feet.
Milner. Aguero. Manchester City just trying to steady themselves here. Not able to do it. Momentum is such a factor in football matches, and Chelsea have it now. Mata, Torres. Well met by Company. Header on by Hazard. Pantilimon happy to allow the ball to bounce.
It's going to take some monumental leap, wasn't it, even for a giant like Demba Ba to get anywhere near Pantilimon, but he's happy to just rattle him, to just fly into him and try and unsettle him, but he's made some big saves for his team. He certainly has. Not easy when you're playing second field to someone like Joe Hart, who's such a good goalkeeper, and you know is pretty much going to be ever present most of the season. So when you come in, all the eyes are on you. He's done his bit today.
Oscar. Hazard. Ryan Bertrand. Mata. There's Petaqueta. There's such a resilience about Chelsea. Never mind that Terry's not out there, or Lampard, or Cole, or Drogba.
Yeah.
That spine of the team for years. Whoever the manager's been, they've been there. They've been the consistency. Here's Torres creating a bit of space for himself. He'll come out for Oscar, defending by Zabaleta. Here goes Toure. Yeah. Ivanovic first to it. Petaqueta's done well to catch up with that. And that's a testing cross. Really good header by Company, reaching and stretching to get to it. Barry. David Luiz cuts it out.
Yeah, well done. Anything bigger from Gareth Barry there. Sergio Aguero is in. I just wanted that run down the line. Well played, David Luiz.
Hazard slipped through to Mata. Bar. Good skill from Nasri. Here goes Yaya Toure again. Well seen by Ivanovic, almost became a return pass.
He's trying to run through him now.
I mean, trying, he can. Hazard. Bar. There's a late one there on Hazard, the referee's pulled it back. The yellow card for Vincent Kompany, who knew what he was doing.
Yeah. So influential, Eden Hazard there, and that's a blatant body check from Vincent Kompany. He doesn't want to let him pass, no, he's quite right. Good refereeing.
I'll tell you what, you can say what you like about semi-finals at Wembley. I grew up in an era when FA Cup semi-finals were played on mud heaps at Villa Park and Hillsborough. There was usually a goal in about the fourth replay. But these two have gone at it from the outset and put on a fantastic spectacle for a full house at Wembley Stadium. Mike Summerby, who's an ambassador for Manchester City and a very good representative of a great era in that club's fine history in the 1970s. Chelsea have this amazing record. They haven't lost an FA Cup match since the quarter-final of 2008. There you go, 85,600 in here today, 62,300 yesterday. Well, David Luiz looks favourite. Confirmed now as Mata runs away. David Luiz! That's not very far away, that.
He's got that straight line approach to the ball. There's a big slap with the instep. He gets it up and gets it down very quickly. Goalkeeper's always reasonably comfortable with it. He's not.
Life as a Manchester City fan in one picture. But they're getting closer and closer, just over 10 minutes away. There's goals either side of the break from Nasri and Aguero. Yaya Toure accelerating into space. Toure! Just losing his balance as he hit it. He felt he was upended, so does he. Nothing doing.
He just got clipped, didn't he? He's just almost like a sprinter coming out the blocks. It's when he gets up and gets his head up and gets running. He just got balked at that vital moment as he's about to hit it.
Zabaleta with the challenge on Hazard. Torres is on the way back slowly. Winning goal in the semi-final 2 years ago here. Winning goal in the final 2 years ago here. Ooh, and that was a pretty robust challenge by Sergio Aguero, and it looked like there might be some afters there. Argentina meets Brazil.
Just whether he's trod across him. David Luiz keeps his body in. Watch Aguero there. That's nasty. That's out of order. He's got no need to do that. That's a red card challenge, that. He's jumped all over him with 2 feet there. He's extremely lucky to get away with that. Oh. That is nasty. Why would he want to do that? I mean, forget the Brazil-Argentina bit. His team are 2-1 up. There's 10 minutes left on the clock. And he puts the whole game at risk with that. Madness.
Well, no card, and a smiling Chris Foy, I guess, has not seen that all that clearly, which might actually work against Aguero. If he reports the referee that he didn't see it, and the camera eye might judge the challenge at a later date, we shall see. Eden Hazard, Ryan Bertrand, another good tackle, umpteenth of the afternoon from Pablo Zabaleta. Ramirez, who just never seems to stop running. Juan Mata in towards Fernando Torres. He just couldn't quite catch up with it. What a pass.
If he just keeps going, if he just keeps his foot to the floor, he gets on the end of that. It's just that he stopped to have a little look to see if the goalkeeper was coming, to see if somebody might be clattering into him. And that was all it took to just fail to get on the end of that.
Ryan Bertrand. Eden Hazard. Juan Mata. Azpilicueta. Towards the head of Torres this time, headed across the face of goal, but can't link up with Bar.
He's had a good effect on the game since he's come on, Fernando Torres. He's looked lively, he's looked sharp.
Milner. Tackled by Oscar. Ramirez. One back by Javi Garcia. Looked like handball that by Oscar. Aguero. Toure. Both teams have Premier League fixtures on Wednesday. Guess who Manchester City play? Wigan at the Etihad. A bit more than a dress rehearsal with Wigan in the bottom three. Manchester City have not claimed their final place yet. Zabaleta. Aguero. A late one on him there by Ramirez, who has been carded. Yeah, the statistics are not everything, but Chris Foy's issued 2 red cards all season, one of them which was appealed, and the other was for Eden Hazard's tangle with a ball boy at Swansea.
Torres catches him, doesn't he? He catches him on. That's that sort of challenge. Only Fernando Torres knows if he's intending to do that or not. It's a nasty one. It's one that hurts. Raking down the back of your Achilles. It is a cynical-looking challenge.
And Chris Foy's had a great game and helped make this a great game, but there have been a couple of challenges in the last 2 or 3 minutes, particularly the Aguero one, which I think if he'd had a really good look at, he might have dealt with a bit differently. Torres down a bar, wrestled to the ground by Barry. Play on, says the referee. Nasri. Toure. Nasri. Cut out by Bertrand. Chelsea still alive. Oscar tumbled off the ball. Azpilicueta's legs just wouldn't carry him to deliver the pass he wanted. Another defensive change for Manchester City. Julian Lescott's got the message, boss. Thank you. It's Samir Nasri who is going to replace. "29 FA Cup ties without actually losing a match, Chelsea. Only Everton in a penalty shootout have put them out of the Cup in the last 5 years. Nasri's early goal has set Manchester City on the way. Aguero. Nasri. Toure. Nasri. Cut out by Bertrand. Chelsea still alive. Oscar tumbled off the ball. Azpilicueta's legs just wouldn't carry him to deliver the pass he wanted. Another defensive change for Manchester City. Julian Lescott's got the message, boss. Thank you. It's Samir Nasri who is going to replace. 29 FA Cup ties without actually losing a match. Chelsea, only Everton in a penalty shootout have put them out of the cup in the last 5 years. Nasri's early goal has set Manchester City on the way. Aguero added another just after the break. Demba Ba's pulled one back. It's far from over, but City are getting close.
City may have just gone 3 at the back for the remainder of this game.
Mata forward towards Torres. He's got goal side of company. Fernando Torres. It ran away from him. He thought he was held. Bounced through to Pantilimon. Referee not interested.
So difficult for Chris Foy and any of the officials to see whether or not that it did indeed just pop up and hit Vincent Kompany on his hand. I was just waiting for the ball to drop so as Torres could get some sort of shot on it. It's another good run.
David Luiz thrown forward towards Torres again. Knocks Lescott out of the way. Nastasic has to clear. Anyway, we'll do at the moment.
Watch this very closely. Because Torres is the wrong side of Vincent Kompany. He can't get the ball without pulling him back. Is he pulling him there? He's not doing a lot to affect the ball, is he, Kompany? But I don't really see it hitting anybody's hand, and I just don't feel Chris Foy can ever give that.
Had hold of his shirt.
So difficult for him to see.
Hazard. Bertrand. Driven against Zabaleta. Chelsea corner. Attacking the end of Wembley where their fans have season tickets. Corner towards the head of Ivanovic. Mata was waiting to volley it. It is a Chelsea throw, though. That's Piliqueta looking to wind up a long one. They need something and they need it quick. It is a long one too. Ivanovic couldn't quite get on the end of it. Ramirez, though, in towards Hazard. Runs for Torres. Forced away by Javi Garcia. Pablo Zabaleta thumps it down the field. As Piliqueta's header might just fall for Aguero. Oscar it is who's back there defending, and defending well. Aguero protecting the ball magnificently. Mata makes the challenge. No foul. Last of the 90 minutes. There'll be more to come, though. Jolyon Lescott. Time for you to nominate your Budweiser man of the match, Andy.
There's been so many good players out there today, but it's the juggernaut in the middle of that City midfield today for me. He has been unstoppable at times, and I've loved watching him. There's been a lot of very good support acts. Sergio Aguero has been excellent. Tevez, when he was on the field, was wonderful. And Chelsea have responded so courageously, but Yaya today gets it for me.
He was your man of the match in the semi-final 2 years ago. Hazard, Mata. Chelsea not done yet. Ramirez. Ryan Bertrand. Hayden Hazard. And now Juan Mata. Hazard let it run. Ramirez, Mata. Zabaleta getting amongst it. Ramirez with the cross, headed away by Clichy. Oscar. Hit against Clichy. Manchester City can break. Yaya Toure and Sergio Aguero are forward too. Here is Toure. Looking to run Piliqueta. Fantastic run by Toure. Cut back. Aguero!
What a run again. My goodness. Staggering effort again from Yaya Toure. And
doesn't come back quite as quickly as he goes forward, I have to say. It's Fernando Torres. Crossed in towards bar. Great header by Lescott. David Luiz, 4 added minutes. Torres. Ramirez. Hazard. Juan Mata. clipped in towards bar, headed by Nastasic this time, and then by Javi Garcia. Toure still inside the Chelsea half of the field, incidentally. David Luiz, here's Mata. Lescott there again. Aguero gathers it in, and he tries to run away. Ivanovic stops him, Aguero fouls him. Chelsea happy to have the ball. No, free kick has been given. Not from that position. Hazard to Bertrand. Juan Mata. Space here for Ryan Bertrand. Lifted in towards Bar, well claimed by Costel Pantilimon. Weak link, not a bit of it.
It's just the wrong type of cross that from Ryan Bertrand. He's just clipped that in there, given the goalkeeper a chance to come and grab it, which he did very well, very confidently. What a game. What a game it's been. Such a good watch. Such intensity. Great honesty about it. Yep, there's been one or two tackles that have been near the mark. It's had pretty much everything, this one.
Fernando Torres. Javi Garcia run across him. Torres told to get to his feet. Check to Azpilicueta. Still about 90 seconds. Eden Hazard. Worth a go. Oh, he's just swerving away from goal. Backed his talent, backed his ability, but just couldn't quite deliver.
He's been the most likely for Chelsea. He's been the most likely to provide, permanently running at people. Just doesn't get that shot even close, unfortunately.
Manchester City number 42, Yaya Toure.
Well, he's just signed a big new contract with Manchester City, Yaya Toure. Papers say £220,000 a week. I'm quite sure how you spend that.
Quite like the chance. Having a go, yeah.
Ivanovic back to check. It's the last of the added minutes. The last chance for Chelsea to complete a colossal comeback. Ramirez squirted forward, turned away by Company. James Milner is there, thumps it downfield. Czech scuttles after it. Comes for Gareth Barry. Toure can't quite find the pass he wanted, but Barry has found the ball. Aguero will be offside, but Chelsea are running out of time here. Manchester City are through to another cup final. They've outstayed Chelsea in a wonderful semi here. Their second FA Cup final in 3 years. And Roberto Mancini, an FA Cup winner, a Premier League title winner with Manchester City, might just add to his roll of honour back here at Wembley next month. It was a close-run thing. They were 2 up early in the second half, but Chelsea fought back wonderfully. A game that was gripping from beginning to end. A wonderful commercial for this great competition. But Manchester City, who have beaten Wigan Athletic in their last 6 meetings, will be their opponents here at Wembley in the FA Cup final. And if it's anything like as good as this, it will be one to watch. Marvellous match. Chelsea 1, Manchester City 2.